Football is a very colorful and intense game. Sometimes during a match, the emotions of the players of the teams run high, and they show their true colors. In some moments, players forget where they are and start arranging scandals and fights with their opponents. Today, I am going to tell you about the cases in which a simple altercation on the pitch turned into a wild feud and hatred outside the stadium. Sit back, let's get started. One of the cases of animosity took place in the English Premier League between Liverpool's Luis Suarez and Manchester United's Patrice Evra. The conflict between Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra dates back to the days when they played for Liverpool and Manchester United, respectively. The scandal broke in October during a match between these teams in 2011 when Luis said the word Negro in Spanish during an altercation with Patrice Evra. Suarez called me a Negro more than 10 times during the match. He was really disrespectful to me. There were signs of racism on his part, Evra said in an interview. Suarez himself denied any wrongdoing, saying that he had called Evra another word, which in Spanish refers to a person's temperament. As a result, Luis was fined $40,000 and suspended for 8 games. After that, Evra and Suarez never shook hands during matches. Patrice expected the Uruguayan to apologize, while Luis went on a never-ending defense. In football, conflicts can arise not only because of color or race, but also because of different personalities. And the following players who have feuded with each other are Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Marco Materazzi. Marco has been dirty throughout his career, and the scandal of the 2006 Mundial final is no exception. His tough challenge against Zlatan Ibrahimovic also deserves special mention. In the same year, 2006, Marco, who was then playing for Inter, put the Swede, who was then playing for Juventus, through the ringer in 2 encounters. In the second episode, Zlatan was even forced off the field with an injury. The Swede was determined to get his revenge on Marco, but the latter soon joined Inter himself. For a while, Zlatan had to share a dressing room with Materazzi. The long-awaited moment came when Ibrahimovic left Inter for AC Milan and met his aggressor on the pitch in the 2010-11 season. Then Zlatan and Marco clashed over the ball, and the Swede sent the defender crashing to the ground with a hard front kick. Materazzi was unable to continue and went straight to hospital. Dejan Stankovic then approached Zlatan and asked the Swede why he had done that. Ibrahimovic had this to say: "He deserved it. I waited 4 years for revenge. If someone has the arrogance to behave like that towards me, they will be punished." Another pair of players from the same team who fell out over love are Thibaut Courtois and Kevin De Bruyne. Courtois and De Bruyne's feud dates back to the beginning of the last decade. At the time, Thibaut was playing for Atletico Madrid, while Kevin was finding his feet at Chelsea, Wolfsburg, and Werder. The conflict between the two players arose over De Bruyne's girlfriend, who started cheating on him with Courtois. Eventually, Kevin found out about his girlfriend's infidelity, and the couple split up. Of course, after such an affair, the players could not normally communicate with each other. They often clashed at national team training sessions, on social networks, and off the pitch. It's been many years, but according to representatives of the Belgian national team, at the last World Cup in Qatar, there was another scandal between Courtois and De Bruyne, which added fuel to the fire of all the clashes involving other players of the Red Devils. Conflicts between players in the same national team can be not only a cheating girlfriend, but also ridiculed. Thibaut Courtois is said to have called Kevin old and written him off. Gerard Piqué and Sergio Ramos have crossed paths on more than one occasion and have won it all for the national team together. But throughout their careers, they have literally hated each other. The feud between the two center-backs began on social media. Piqué regularly made fun of Real Madrid's failings on his Twitter account, making jokes about the creamies parties and disciplinary problems. After another sarcastic joke, Ramos said that he would not stop mocking and that he would take revenge on Gerard, to which Piqué responded, "I'm happy to be playing for the great Barcelona generation, who have won absolutely everything. Thanks to us, Real Madrid have no trophies. I'm in favor of Madrid having it really bad." Subsequently, Gerard and Sergio began to cause trouble at national team training sessions, and the center-backs feud caused problems for Spain at Euro 2012. Furious, Piqué and Ramos could not get on with anyone. They still do not like each other. Another incident involving Zlatan Ibrahimovic took place in 2004. During the Netherlands game against Sweden, Zlatan and Rafael van der Vaart got into a fight because Ibrahimovic hit the Dutchman so hard that he tore ligaments in his ankle. Van der Vaart was convinced that Zlatan had done it on purpose and made a huge fuss about it. Ibrahimovic tried to apologize to Van der Vaart, but the Dutchman refused to accept it. Ajax coach Ronald Koeman made them sit down together, and Zlatan said, "I didn't hurt you on purpose, and you know that. If you accuse me again, I will break both your legs, and this time, it will be on purpose." The reasons for the hostility in each situation are easy to understand. The instigators and provocateurs overstep their bounds and deny guilt, and their haters, in turn, have not let go of the situation and have not forgotten anything. It is not surprising that after insults and gross violations, football players remember their offenders for many years. Conflicts on the pitch are not just between players, as the legendary confrontation between Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho proves. Arsenal's Arsene Wenger and Chelsea's Jose Mourinho are the two most divisive managers in the Premier League, but where did their long-running conflict begin? Chelsea took the league title immediately after Jose's arrival, which at the time was in the hands of the Cannoneers. The Portuguese will continue to have the upper hand over his colleague, but the results of the confrontations between the teams will no longer be at the center of the conflict. What we have here is an intellectual confrontation between two coaches whose pride and arrogance make them look like resentful children. This is definitely a story of normal human envy. The importance of these two specialists in world football is undeniable, but they have very different connotations. Wenger has always presented himself as a manager with a specific vision of the game and a philosophical approach to proper football, while Mourinho was more inclined to win at all costs. Mourinho set about collecting an unimaginable number of honors just when Wenger was in his trophy drought. The Frenchman would have loved to have stayed on top. Jose can be very blunt in his comments, but in almost all of his fights, he takes on the role of the responder. He reacts with such force that the initial details are quickly forgotten. This was the case with Arsene. In August 2005, as Mourinho celebrated his first victories in England, Wenger sensed his rival's power and naturally began to question his style of play. I know we live in a world where people are divided into winners and losers, but if in sport, you start to encourage teams that refuse to take the initiative as the game goes on, then the sport is in danger. Jose took it very personally, so his response was not about Arsenal's playing qualities, but about Wenger personally. We don't give Wenger a break. I think he is what they call in England a voyeur. He's the kind of person who likes to look at other people. There are people who put a big telescope in their house to watch other people's lives and their families. Wenger must be one of them. It's a disease. He goes on and on and on about Chelsea. It is ironic that in 2015, Arsene can use the same term to describe Mourinho. Jose left England in 2007, but his relationship with Wenger didn't end there. Sometimes conflicts arise over such trivialities. In September 2017, a conflict broke out between Cavani and Neymar at PSG. The Uruguayan had long been the team's main penalty taker and a living legend. However, his status led him to challenge Neymar, and the players almost came to blows in the match against Lyon. In that game, the referee awarded a penalty in the Weaver's box, and Cavani stepped up to take the spot kick, but Neymar clearly had other plans. The Brazilian approached his partner and tried to take the ball. El Matador won the ball on the right, but his shot was wide. Later, the players played down the conflict. In the Champions League match between PSG and Galatasaray, Neymar was awarded a penalty, but gave his partner the right to shoot from 11 meters. A unique tripartite conflict. It would have nothing to do with football if it weren't for Leo Messi. But let's think about something else. Mauro Icardi is a great striker, right? So how do you explain the fact that he has made just 8 appearances for Argentina in his entire career? The roots of the situation lie in the conflict with Maxi Lopez. In 2012, the young Mauro played for Sampdoria alongside the not-so-young Maxi Lopez, a former Barca benchwarmer and friend of Lionel Messi. They quickly found a common language, but not before Icardi stole his friend's wife, former porn actress Wanda Nara. Poor Maxi was not even allowed to see his own children. Who stood up for him? That's right, Messi. Because of Lionel's influence, Mauro Icardi has been blacklisted from the Argentina national team, rumored to be because of the Maxi Lopez situation. Argentine football legend Hernan Crespo bluntly said in 2018 that Mauro was left at home because Messi didn't like him. And in October 2021, Lionel somehow wanted PSG to get rid of Icardi, but Icardi probably doesn't want to stay on the bench anyway because of the Leo Mbappe-Neymar trio. Next, an episode worthy of a crime drama script. In November 2015, Benzema was arrested for allegedly blackmailing his France teammate, Mathieu Valbuena, with an intimate video. Specifically, Karim acted as an intermediary to persuade Mathieu to pay the blackmailers. According to Benzema's lawyer, his client was so fed up with the process that he pleaded guilty and received a 1-year suspended sentence. The incident had a negative impact on both players. Valbuena and Benzema were suspended from the French national team and missed Euro 2016. It was said that Karim's career would never see international football again. But for Euro 2020, Didier Deschamps recalled the Real Madrid striker, and he has hardly regretted it. And poor Valbuena hasn't played for the national team since 2015, although he was still in good form for a while. Friends, on this, my video is coming to an end. If you liked it, the best thanks for me will be to put a like and write a comment on what topic I will shoot a new issue. Do not go anywhere and look for other issues. They are now on your screen. Until new meetings.